with a Yeti in the back, and she's ready to rock. It's a May River thing. It's a May River thing. It's a May River thing.
Welcome to the latest edition of Low Country Chronicle. My name is Tim Wood. Very excited to have you with us today. Really cool things happening all over the Low Country, and today is no exception. We are Red Fox's alumni. My oldest son, who is graduating this year, went to Red Cedar Elementary, and the crowd over at Red Cedar broke a Guinness World Record yesterday, which is just insane. And how they did it is even crazier. I will cede the full screen to bring in one of my idols, and just a wonderful person, Dr. Kathy Corley. How are you today?
I am wonderful today. I've had my second vaccination, and we broke a record pending Guinness Book of World Records affirmation of same.
Okay, so you broke the record for the easiest way to say it is cereal box dominoes falling.
Serially knocking over cereal boxes in a domino fashion. Yes, that's what we did.
I mean, how is this idea born? It's one of those things. It's like so cool, and there's so much education element to it, and so much fun, which is what you guys are all about. But where did this start?
Well, first of all, if it's a Guinness Book of World Records, it's not an original idea. It was a post on Facebook that Mindy Wynn tagged me in, and that was a couple of months ago. And it was a school somewhere that did maybe 400 boxes, and they did them down the hallway. And it looked really neat. The kids were having a great time, and I assumed they were going to donate the food to a food bank. So why not? Why not do that? But we need to add a couple of things. There should be notes added to the cereal, added to the boxes of cereal that students write, either something about the life of the cereal box and how it fell down, or just a peppy person-to-person sort of note. And there should also be a QR code that links the cereal eater and family to the video that shows all of the boxes being knocked down. Piece of cake.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah, piece of cake. That was back around your birthday, or do you want everybody to know that? Sorry.
That's okay.
Mid-February. Let's
mid-February.
Mid-February. And so this is like 7 weeks later. How do you make this happen in 7 weeks?
You have a great team, first of all. So you present them with the idea, and they know that they're going to own a piece of it. They're going to fully fill their space on one section of it, like cereal acquisition. Audrey Caney, in charge of cereal acquisition. So she sent something out to the staff after she parsed through it, figured out there ought to be a contest for different classes, bringing in different amounts of cereal, and first place gets a pizza party, and the kids get to pie their teacher in the face or pie me in the face. That happens on Thursday. Little baby pies, and they'll choose one or the other of us. And I'm hoping they want to do her a lot more than they want to do me, but it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yep.
So we ended up with 700 plus boxes from one team, one class, and 500 from another, and 400 from another. So they're pretty competitive.
And you had one class or one person that got in, like, did I see like 700 boxes to start?
There was one class, the class that won, Mrs. Howell's class. A child brought in over 100, and that got everything kick-started.
Wow.
So that really inspired the rest of the class.
How do you get from 100 to over 6,000 boxes of cereal?
There are people who want to be a part of a thing that sounds like fun and sounds interesting, and they want to contribute. They just want to be a part of it. So Hargrave brought in close to 200. They had a competition among the departments. Transportation won, I was told. There were food stores. One of our virtual teachers, she teaches virtual kindergartners, and part of the kindergarten curriculum is to write persuasive letters. And this was right smack dab in the middle of that unit. So her children wrote to Publix and other places, and they said yes. So there were a couple of 100 boxes here, 100 boxes there. My neighborhood, Berkeley Hall, did the same thing. Hidden Lakes, there were lots of places.
Oh, yeah.
That they just got on the bandwagon. And with Facebook and Instagram, others, you can share what's going on. And some people go, yeah, I could get behind that. I would like to do that.
Who wouldn't want to get behind it, right?
Sure.
It's crazy.
Sure. We're doing good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
According to the Kim Hall, the director at Bluffton Self-Help, those 6,000 plus boxes represent 30,000 meals.
That's phenomenal. I mean, and that's the part of this that just keeps on. I mean, the record's great. It's great to break a record, but these weren't just like empty boxes. These were filled with cereal, and that's gonna feed the community. I mean, that's just the magical part of this is there's learning, there's giving back to the community. I mean, I was in awe of you and your staff when TJ went to Red Cedar, and broke my heart when we moved that Jake wasn't going to get to go there. But this is nothing new for you guys, and I know you don't like to toot your own horns, but this is nothing new for you guys. It's a phenomenal place to learn and to really enjoy education. And so tell me, in terms of when we get back to the education part of this, what's this? There's a science to this, and that's a whole other thing that everybody had to pick up on, right?
Yes. If we had to do this again, there are certain things that we would do in certain different ways. I should mention that one of the previous record holders was Kellogg's UK.
Oh, okay. You broke the OG record, the the ones who made the cereal.
Because they just go out to the warehouse and get some more if they want. But they used only cornflakes. All the same size boxes, all the same weights. I mean, come on.
That's
really?
Weak sauce right there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like playing basketball with a 6-foot hoop. Sorry.
And 6'5", your whole team's 6'5". All right, I got it up here.
just toss it to me. I'm putting it down. Yep. So, Cheerios in the big boxes. They're these Cheerios that a lot of the folks at Berkeley Hall sent in or brought, and they come from Sam's. You can see some of them there. They're yellow and they stick up a little bit more. If you have them all in a row, they're a problem because they slow down for a couple of reasons. They come stuck together with a little bit of almost like silicone cement, but it's the oogie stuff that comes off relatively easy. But if you leave it there, it's in between the boxes, it could get hung up. So there's that. We determined that Raisin Bran, especially generic Raisin Bran, because for whatever reason they put more raisins in those boxes than Kellogg's and Post do. I don't know why.
Ooh, good to
They're
know.
a little bit heavier. And if you put those in between the Cheerios, they really make things happen. And our media specialist said, well, of course, you need some Raisin Bran to get things started. So,
You're quicker in the morning than I am. Like if it was 11:30, I would have had that line out first.
Yeah. It's a little serial humor. There's a lot of it going on over here.
Oh, sure.
I was thanking somebody bunches, and then somebody added of oats.
Of oats, yep.
Yeah, like no, just stop. We just stop. And Fruity Pebbles, you cannot trust Fruity Pebbles. They're the toddlers in the cereal world.
Really? Weight-wise, it's the weights all over the place?
Well, they don't want to stand up. They're like, I don't want to stand up. And they want to fall over. Now, if you can get them to fall when you want them to fall, yes, but think about toddlers. Try to get them to do something on hand.
Okay, and so any record, like, so Kellogg's UK record, if it was broken like 20 years ago, like that's an asterisk because the boxes nowadays are like, when you talk about toppling over, like the boxes are paper thin now. Like it's just like they just barely stand up like a box. Some of them.
That's correct. That's correct. There's some creasing that needs to be done at the bottom. And Guinness Book of World Records makes you film all of the setup because they want to make sure, and you have to have a statement that they're commercially available. So it's not like Tim Wood brand.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Flakes.
I gave you all of the, yeah, gotcha.
And they have, I don't know, little magnets in them or something, and they're gonna, seek each other's company and fall in a different way. And that's why you have the witnesses too.
And so you had to have 3 witnesses from the community. You had a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Graham.
Mr. Graham is his card is right here. He is specifications, contract administration, owner representation, and inspections.
Okay.
Or construction stuff.
Gotcha. And then Lieutenant Colonel Dan Thorne.
Yes, he's retired from the Air Force. He is he delivers planes all over the place. He was in the Netherlands on Saturday. He delivers planes for Gulfstream, but before he did that, he flew many different kinds of planes in the Air Force, but a particular one you'd recognize right away. Just pick one. That, like, what's the coolest plane you could pilot?
The Stealth?
Think slower and a lot more background checks.
All right, I fail.
Air Force One.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
It took a while to find him. No, that's not true.
I mean, and that just adds to the story that there's endless stories around here of people doing incredibly cool things or have had incredibly cool lives.
And are willing to spend some time with us to do a silly fun thing.
Okay, so this wasn't just one attempt. Like, you guys stuck to it. And kudos to you guys, kudos to the Packet for streaming it live, and so we got to see everything, and we got to see the frustration, the elation, the jubilation.
Yes.
I mean, how long between the setups? I mean, you probably knocked over 2,000, at least 2,000 a try, right?
The first time it was hardly any. It was a couple hundred.
Okay.
And that didn't take very long to set up again. And there were police officers and firemen and staff members and the staff members who are the engineering construction team who were setting them up. And the construction team, the engineer / construction team, We're always checking out the corners. And I was given some intel this morning, what they had concluded. I don't know if I should save this for our consulting business on this topic, or I should just let it go for free. But when we tested the corners, we didn't test the corners with momentum. So you just knock down, you put your hand on like box 8 around the corner from where you want to knock it down. So you knock down the first box on the way to the corner and then hold on to box 8 so you don't get the whole row and have to set it up and go, yep, that works. But what you're not counting on is the momentum that is created on the straightaway. There's a unit in 4th grade that's followed up in 5th grade that's called force and motion, with the motion part right, but the force part wrong because we weren't thinking. So if you have the same kind of cereal boxes, especially Raisin Bran or anything with nuts in it, it gets a good head of steam. So when it comes into the corner, it just may knock a Fruity Pebbles silly. And Fruity Pebbles says, I'm out. No, it's not happening. No, I'm not doing this anymore. And it won't knock down the next box. It just refuses. It's like a cat. I lost your sound, Tim.
Can you hear me now? All right, there we go.
Yes.
That goes against everything that Fruity Pebbles stands for.
What do you mean stands for? They don't
You're talking about Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. You know, like.
But it's Pebbles. When we knew her. Now I'm thinking of baby Pebbles. I'm not thinking of teenage
all right,
Pebbles.
Fair enough.
I mean, because I go way back.
Oh yeah.
She's a little kid.
She is.
She was just figuring stuff out. So to ask her to have
the weight of
that responsibility, you can't have her on a turn. And there was one on a turn. Horrors. How did we make that happen?
So, all in all, this was about an hour and a half. Is that fair? Hour and 10 minutes?
No, I think it was long. Let's see. We started at 9:45. I think we ended about 11:15.
Okay, so about an hour and a half. So
it all kind of ran together because then there was still the counting. Those witnesses had to count all of the boxes in the first place. Then they had to count all of the boxes that fell. Lucky them, we had stickers with numbers on each of them. So they didn't have to remember, but they still had to make sure they were all there. And when the 5th graders who were watching from the hall suggested we put more boxes, after a couple of failures, that we put more boxes on the turn, we took the boxes from the end. We didn't relabel them, we just put them there to save time. So the witnesses had to count again all of the ones that fell to make it legit. And that had to be filmed as well.
And there was a whole application process for this too, right?
Yes, it's quite involved.
I would imagine you probably got a pretty thick folder, right? I mean, at this point.
Yes, and they want it all digitally, and that will be fine. They wanted multiple photographs of everything that was going on, both the setup and when it was happening. And I think that's to ensure that there's no funny business with the boxes. There's no funny business with our boxes. We had some that we had to not use because there are some ridiculous boxes that I've never seen before. I could go grab one, but they look like little linebackers.
Right.
And there is no way that those were going to topple under any circumstance. So they are part of the land of misfit cereal boxes.
Still getting
and
donated.
They'll still have stories on them,
Yep.
and we'll still donate them because it's good stuff.
And every donated box is going to have a message on it from the kids.
Yes. The history of that is when I was the principal at Bluffton Elementary School more than one time, and more than one time here, we've collected water or food or things for people in need.
Mm-hmm.
And when we know that we can get it where it's going, because that's the toughest part,
Right.
Getting it, that's not hard at all. But getting it where it's going, if someone is already saying, I'm getting water to the troops in Afghanistan, then we're there. So we knew that was happening. We sent water. Months and months and months later, a lieutenant in the Army called me and said, you don't know me. This is out of the blue. But I was in Afghanistan last week, just finished a tour there. I'm in Germany now. But I wanted to tell you about something that touched me. We had a particularly bad mission that I won't tell you about. We got in very, very late to a camp that I wasn't familiar with. The guy I met up with said, you sleep over in that tent. You can go to that tent for food. You can go to that tent for water. Some kids sent us some water. It's nice. He said, yeah, sure. Then he said, I grabbed 3 bottles of water and some food. I don't think I ate anything. I was just so dead tired. I needed to go to sleep. I drank one of the bottles of water and everything was dark. I couldn't have told you what kind of water it was, what label it had on it. So I drank the bottle of water. I fell asleep with the other 2 lying on my chest. And I was so tired, I didn't move all night, apparently. And those 2 bottles of water stayed there. So I woke up and I noticed that the water had messages on them. There were these labels on them. And they said things like, hey, soldier guy, hope you're okay. Thanks for doing what you do. Or thanks for defending us. And pictures of American flags and things like that. And he said, you have no earthly idea what that meant. So if you have the opportunity to send water with no labels or water with labels and have kids express themselves, because we didn't tell them what to write, certainly. They wrote what they chose to write. And if there's, I don't want to say recalcitrant, but a child who's not into it, doesn't really get it, just draw a nice picture.
Yeah.
Draw a picture of your family if you'd like.
Yep.
And that will be fine. Do whatever suits you. And those messages meant enough for this guy with the weight of the world on his shoulders to call me and say, that was a thing. You need to let your people know that was a thing. So now we have an opportunity. We have 6,000 plus opportunities to do the same thing in a different way, of course.
That's awesome. Anybody that we haven't mentioned that you want to get out there in terms of, I mean, who provided the T-shirts?
We just did that. That was for the team. I always wanted to wear a shirt that said event staff. And I thought the other folks would too. But it seemed to make a lot of sense.
You guys have an in-house T-shirt studio or
No, but the person who did the event staff part has a Cricut and she knows how to use it. So that's Mrs. Sykes, who does your enrolling on a daily basis, keeps track of our data expertly. She did the backs of the shirts.
Wow.
But they were available on Amazon.
Okay, so you ordered the cereal shirts, yeah. Okay. Yes. That's awesome. I mean, there's just like so many little nuances to what you guys pulled off with the T-shirts and then just your face mask, your Tony the Tiger face mask was phenomenal.
Had to find that.
Is there anybody we're leaving out to thank here?
Oh, there are lots of people to thank. There are all those folks in the neighborhoods and all those parents. Mr. Mullins at Hargray, my bosses were all coming to watch. And I said to a teacher, I didn't realize how nerve-wracking this was going to be, because not only is there the event itself, but it's kind of like when I come into your class and observe, and maybe things don't go well. So when the first run didn't go so well, and everybody who was a boss of mine was sitting on the stage, and then the mayor joined
The
in,
mayor.
and
Yep. And yep.
and a third of the police force, it would appear, standing there going, hmm. And pretty much everybody on the stage became an engineer.
Right.
Like, oh, that box over there,
And everybody in the Facebook comments I was seeing too, everybody was gotta get him closer, gotta get gotta get him closer around the edges.
Yep. But it was great. It would have been spectacular if all 6,000 boxes went down, because we would crush the competition for years to come. But that's not really necessary.
This just sets up the sequel.
Yes, sure. Absolutely. Yes.
I won't commit you to it, but I mean that's so. Will they come once this is all certified? Will they come and present the record?
No. Here's a little fun fact. The application itself is a little pricey, and a couple of folks underwrote that for us, and our PTO facilitated that happening. And if you want more assistance for consultation, it's $1,000.
Wow.
And if you want the person to come out in those, I don't know if you've seen the person, there's a blazer, and it has, it's navy blue, I think, with gray outlines on it. It's an odd little thing. For that, you'd pay $10,000.
Wow.
So we said no. We said no about that. Superintendent was happy. We said no about that.
We'll take the certificate. And that reminds me of like the Who's Who of America scam back. Like it was great to be part of it, but like then to have to, everything they were selling along with it was like my parents were like, nah, we're gonna hit the pause here.
Yes.
Dr. Kathy Corley, just listen. This is phenomenal. This is just what everybody needed right about now, and just phenomenal good news. Phenomenal coming together of the community. Congratulations on pulling it off. Congratulations to your whole staff on pulling it off.
Absolutely, they're a fabulous group, and they just jump in and assist in places you don't even know assistance is necessary. And they won't even say anything about it. They'll just, did you do that? Oh, yeah, well, somebody wasn't there, so I thought I should be.
Outstanding.
There's a TV station in Cleveland that picked it up, and it's in their segment called The Best Thing You'll Hear All Day. And someone from Cleveland sent that to me today via Facebook, and it happens to be a former teacher named Deanna Sarka, used to be Deanna Mullinax, who taught math at Kraken. And she happened to see it on TV. So what she sent me was her voiceover watching, going, yay! And she also donated via Venmo some cereal.
I'll tell you what, if that gets around, I have a hard time believing that would be the only TV station, that I'm have you heard from the locals yet?
All the locals, I think nearly all the locals were here.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm told some Charleston stations picked it up. And in the middle of the night, I got Facebook message from Tokyo News Service, and they're interested as well.
Outstanding. Worldwide. And it's already got between the packet and yours and the district like 25,000 views so far, and that'll just keep going up. So that's amazing. Congratulations for what you're able to pull off. Congratulations to the kids and all the families, all the community members that participated in this. It's just a wonderful thing.
Thanks for having me, and say hi to the boys for me.
I shall. It's amazing to catch up with you, and TJ sends a hooray. He's very excited to see it. So he's uh again, you know, uh, he's a man of few words, but well, pretty much was. I think his words were not surprised, not surprised. They're rock stars. Dr. Kathy Corley, thank you for joining us on Low Country Chronicle.
Sure,
All right,
anytime.
that's it for today. We will talk to you next time. Join us on the Facebook, on the social. Join the newsletter. We'll have all that up on the screen as we end here. And for now, my name is Tim Wood, and we will see you next time on Low Country Chronicle.